But Haven, wasn't the 2v2 the winner of the poll? In this Minecraft video, I'm going to survive 100 days in Minecraft. But here are the twists. Firstly, my friend Austin will spend the entire time trying to hunt me down and kill me. If I die for whatever reason, he wins. If I survive to day 100, I win. The second twist, Ultra Hardcore mode is enabled, meaning natural health regeneration is turned off. And the only way to heal is through golden apples or health potions. You're gonna want to see the fights this time around as they get really intense. But the question is, can I survive to the end? Well, you have to watch and find out. But before we begin, I'd like to say there is still a massive 90% of people not subscribed, and I ask that if you go on to enjoy the video, please consider doing so. It's free and it does help me out a lot. Secondly, do you want 200 days Ultra Hardcore Manhunt? Well, if you get this video to 3k likes, we'll do it again. Alright, please enjoy. And so it begins. Day 1 and go! I began by running whilst taking 2 hits. It should be worth noting that each hit with a fist on a naked body is half a heart. And so I ran, I jumped, I swam, and I just kept taking a couple of hits here or there. I was looking for a structure, but sadly that just wasn't going to be the case. After taking about the 4th or 5th hit, I decided that enough was enough and I wanted to attack back. I picked up a couple of sweet berries and a brutal fisting began. I managed to get him trapped in the berries and we just started hitting each other like crazy. I ended up dropping to 3.5 hearts, which had me enough concerned that I decided to run again. However, whilst turning around noticing, Austin was no longer running. He was walking. Incredibly, my man ran out of food, and so it was now time for me to run and fist him even more. I should stop saying fist. You'd be surprised how much of an advantage one player can have by just running rather than walking when you're trying to punch somebody. It's like a crazy difference. And I got one really good combo on Austin, causing him to run one more time, and after that I was able to put him down on round 1, and he dropped 2 juicy golden apples to boot. Oh yeah, I should probably mention 2 quick things. Firstly, notice that there's no chat. We decided to turn off the chats because every time one of us would get something like diamonds or enter the nether, it would say the achievement in the chat. So to keep a bit of anonymous to it and so we don't know exactly what each other have, we decided to just turn off chat altogether. Secondly, just to make this slightly more possible for me in the early game, every single time that Austin dies, he will drop 2 golden apples. That way, when I do survive these early fights, there's actually a chance for me to heal up and survive the 2nd or 3rd attack. Anyways, I did the classics, get some wood, some stone, make some tools. You know how it's done, but it was time for me to get some iron, and I was actually mining some when this nerve-hurting skeleton decided to ruin my day. He actually dropped me to half a heart, which was terrifying. Now, listen, if this was day 10 or 11, I'd probably be a lot more careful, but considering this is only day 1, I wasn't too worried about dying early. If not, we only lose about 5 minutes of progress. And so I just charged into the caves. I spent all night caving and I was cooking up iron on day 2 when in the distance I saw a creeper explosion. Now I was 99% sure that it was probably over in this moment, but mama didn't raise no quitter. So I quickly made some iron tools and dug down hoping for, honestly, I don't really know what. I saw him above me, sneaking some of the iron that I got in the furnace. Now listen, murdering, manhunting, that's all fine, but stealing? That's too far, bud. That's too far. He began to dig down on me and I was able to tickle his feet, as they say, hitting him 3 times. I knew that that did some major damage. And so I knew it was time to charge him now or never. Thanks to the last golden apple, I was able to take 1 hit. That 1 hit put me on half a heart, but as you can see, it was enough for me to be able to kill Austin again. And yet again, I'm back on half a heart. And yet again, if I didn't drop those 2 golden apples, I would be more than dead. Haven 2, Austin 0. Before I headed back into the caves, though, I decided it was time for me to head quickly up to get a bed. I want to be able to skip those nights, you know, and so once I got a bed, I headed back home. Home being a little cave in the ground, I mean, I'm not really sure you can call it home. Whilst I was food gathering, I actually found a village as well. I snuck into it and found 4 obsidian in the blacksmith chest, and I also found a nice little bookshelf area as well. Now I just need 2 single diamonds and I have myself an enchant table. Not a bad start if you ask me. And as the night was falling, I decided to chop down a couple of trees. I got 5 apples, which really is not amazing, but it'd be enough to get me back to full health when the time comes. Day 4 is when I entered back into the caves and I was able to dig up a stack of iron. No gold or diamonds. The lapis was nice, and also the redstone, I guess. Anyway, back to strip mining. On day 5, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was just a day of strip mining. I did find a little bit of gold, which was nice, but other than that, just nada. It was day 6 where I found the Cave of Rune, and there was 2 diamonds in it as well, which is really good. I now have the enchant table whenever I'm ready to make it, and look at that, there's another diamond over there. Just the 1. Great. I also found plenty of gold, and now I'm able to heal twice, and there's really no reason for me not to heal, so I'll get on that straight away. It was on day 7 where I found a spider which dropped some string, and it was also on that day that I made the enchant table. I was enchanting the basics whilst I was cooking up some gold, and then I grinded some gravel, a very basic day. I wonder what Austin's up to right now. Oh, it's me, Austin, and I smell, and I'm jealous of Avenab because of his amazing jokes. Personality. Oh no, a creeper killed me. It's me, Austin. I died to a creeper on day 7. On day 8, thanks to the 2 feathers that I had, I managed to rack up 8 arrows. I'm so lucky, I know. Also, I don't know what I'm doing here. Decided to not group the arrows together because apparently I really am a nerf herder. And then I spent the rest of the day just in the caves looking for more stuff where, apart from a bit of coal mining, nothing really happened. On day 9, I enchanted a few books. Thanks to the bookshelves I found in the library, I had a couple of spare. I was able to get protection 2 on my chest plate and leggings, and I also got sharpness 1 on my axe. As for the 4 efficiency books I got, well, I decided that they weren't that useful. And no, don't tell me making an efficiency-free iron pickaxe was worth it, because it just wasn't. And then mined a little bit more gold as the day ended. Day 10 and I was still mining the gold. In fact, by the end of the day, I was able to make 48 gold. Or should I say mine 48 gold. And with my spare apple, I made a gapple and headed to the surface as it was time for me to chop down some trees. Now with 40 gold spare, considering I just had a golden apple in the boot, I was just vibing, chopping down some trees, when suddenly Austin showed up, unenchanted and bowless, like a man like a would. As we can all tell, the advantage was clearly mine. He didn't know my lack of arrows, and so he played very defensively, running, shield up behind every wall he could possibly get to. I was able to get a few good hits on him for causing him to run even further, and though I took 2 hearts in total, I was able to put him down like old yellow. 2 more golden apples just like that, and well, things are going really, really well so far. In fact, it's straight back to tree chopping. I spent the rest of the day chopping down trees, and it was day 12 where I made the final golden apple needed. I had 9 in total now. It's time for me now to get back into the cave, because as much as I have the healing, I really need to upgrade my diamond gear. Between day 14 and 17, I had a vast caving trip where I think I have experienced something that very little people have experienced before. As your boy Havenhand over here finds 10 veins of diamond and only gets 13 diamonds from them. I have never had this poor diamond luck in my entire life, but like, why was I only getting 1 veins all the time? This is ridiculous. I was kind of annoyed by day 18. It's kind of sad I didn't record my audio. I didn't really realize I wasn't recording it at this point, but nah, what can you do? It's not like I would have been able to use it anyway. I was too busy blasting the Jovester. Anyway, I used those 13 diamonds to make a helmet and a chest plate. I got them both to basic protection 1 for the time being. I also cooked up the gold that I had because, you know, gold's nice. On day 19, I decided to have a sneak look into the nether. And within 30 seconds, I was on fire and taking a lot of damage, and I decided that I no longer wanted to be in the nether. And so I decided to just, well, leave. I'll come back later when I'm not playing like an absolute toddler. Anyway, to the surface I go. On day 20, I was having a look around for both villagers and cows. I wanted as much leather as humanly possible. I normally try and trade villagers for OP books and then combine those OP books for the good gear, but this time I just decided it wasn't really worth it. And so I thought just making a level 30 enchant setup would be cool as well. And so I ran around finding a single village which didn't have any bookshelves, and the whole cow thing wasn't really working for me either. It was more of the same on day 21 as well. At least I was getting a lot of sugarcane and, you know, goats. Cool. On day 22, again, it was more of the same, but, I wonder what Austin's up to. Oh, it's me, Austin. I peed myself, and I want to go and subscribe and like the video on Havenhand because he deserves it. Oh my god, I died again. This is so sad. That Austin guy is really kind. I really appreciate his kind words. On day 23, would you believe I was still hunting for leather? Also, goats. Alright, cool. On day 24, with the very little leather I had, I gave up and decided it was time to go caving. I was just wasting my time at this point. And so once the night came, I dug down and found a nice little caving area, and it was time for me to do a massive caving trip. I then spent the next 9 days in the caving trips, and by the end of 34, I had obtained 45 levels, enough gapples to get 15 more golden apples, 17 diamonds, and overall, I was pretty chuffed with the caving trip, I'd say. Those 17 diamonds I turned into tools and leggings. I thought it was alright. I only need boots now, and hell, it'll be a good time. I decided now that I had a bit more diamond armor and stuff, it was time for me to head back into the nether. And so on day 35, well, it was time for me to have a look around to see if I could find a fortress. And it was by day 40 that I gave up, because fortresses are just not a thing, apparently. You remember in the last couple of videos where I just found a fortress, like, instantly? Like, 2 blocks away from my portal? That was a nice time. Anyway, as I was heading home on day 41, I did notice a bastion. I didn't go into it because I'm not stupid enough to charge in there. I did, however, make a note of the coordinates because if they did have a lot of gold, it was going to be a really easy way for me to get, you know, golden apples. And by day 43, I was back into the overworld, wasting even more time in the nether. If it wasn't for the fact that Austin was playing terribly as well, this would be a bad time for us all. And by day 44, I was back to the leather hunting, which is what I spent on 45 and 46. And by day 47, I was able to make enough bookshelves for a level 30 enchanter. A mixture of me grindstoning, doing a couple of enchantments, and getting everything I needed done. By day 52, I had either protection 3 or protection 4 in all of my diamond armor. My sword was sharpness 4, fire aspect 2. My bow was power 4 and infinity. Overall, over the 5 days of me casually getting levels and grindstoning stuff, I was quite happy with my armor. I took a quick nap and I was clearing things up on day 53 when an arrow landed nearby me and, well, Austin had returned with a vengeance. He didn't have any diamond boots though, which was really sad. I was hoping I'd be able to get the full set. That's if I'm able to kill him. We'll cross that bridge if we get there. We traded some hits, ate some golden apples, but at this point, surprisingly, the biggest advantage I had was the fact that I had a fire aspect sword. Usually around this time, we already have the fire resistance potions, but for one reason or another, we just didn't get potions this time. Apparently, he was having just as much of an issue as I was, and because my sword had fire aspect, him being put on fire was going to be a massive pain in the butt for him. Once he knew my fire aspect sword was going to be the advantage, he decided to let's keep to a bow fight. But even that really wasn't doing him that well. I mean, I'm sure my power 4 was shredding through his armor. He can run and run, but he will never be able to escape me. I will run him down to the end of days, and he will never... Did he just fall in that ravine? Bro. That wasn't even a fight! That was more like a strongly worded disagreement. I mean, does that even count as a win? Oh my god, oh god, jolly jeez, good heavens. Well, I mean, I'll just take his gear, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, didn't really have anything that good anyway. And so we're 4 fights in now. 2 at the start, one of them he was heavily undergeared for, and the 4th one he decided to jump into a ravine where he, well, splattered. Cool. Let's just say things are going well for good old Avenand over here. Considering he had to restart again, and I had a 3/4 diamond advantage to him, I think it's safe to say that this was the final fight preparation. He knew that, I knew that, because we spoke about it. And so for the next 45 days we will be grinding gear like crazy. A lot of this was admittedly ultra grindy, so I'm gonna sum this up to stop the video from going insanely long. So let's go through things. First things first, I went back into the caves. I wanted to find some diamonds to get the diamond boots to make the full set. It did only take me a couple of days, and then I level 30'd those diamond boots, and now we are good to go. After I got the diamond boots, I headed back into the nether for the 3rd and final time. I decided that I was going into the nether and I was not leaving the nether until I had found a fortress. And about 10 days later, I was able to finally found the fortress, and it was a relieving feeling. I just must have got really unlucky with it. I can't really say much. I did the whole nether ward getting and blaze rod hunting, and once I had my 15th blaze rod, it was time for me to head home. I will mention at this point, we did make an agreement to not have poison potions because we both thought it'd just be too annoying. So I'll make what I can, but poison potions are not allowed. And also, for those who don't know, Ultra Hardcore completely forbids regeneration potions or regeneration of any kind like that. And so I will not be making regeneration potions, and neither will Austin. Cool? Cool. Whilst I was in the nether as well, I decided to level 30 all the books that I had. I wanted to get as many good ones as I could. I didn't get so many good ones to start off with, but luckily I was able to just grind some cores to get as many levels as possible. I was able to get a flame book, which I was able to put onto my bow. As well, I turned all of my armor into protection 4. I got my axe to sharpness 5, and then got my bow to power 5 as well. It was about as maxed out as it could possibly be if you ignore the mending. Though a lot of my armor already had unbreaking 3 on it because of the level 30 enchanting, so that's pretty good. Once I returned home after getting all those level 30 enchanters done, I was then gold caving, quite frankly. I wanted as many golden apples as possible, and so I caved all day and partied all night by caving more. And once I had enough for 41 golden apples in total, I headed to the surface and chopped down some trees. I did have to eat a golden apple because of this creeper, thanks buddy old pal or mate, but other than that, I was pretty chuffed. After the trees were cut, I decided that I needed some friends, and so I went dog hunting, which I was able to find honestly quite quickly. I got all the bones needed, I got the dogs to be tamed, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I introduce you to the Packtopia. I call them the Packtopia. Really running out of names for these, aren't I? I spent a lot of the time just breeding them as much as possible. Honestly, it's how I spent most of the time remaining. My armor was good, I had the potions needed once I, of course, brewed them. And once I was satisfied with everything that I had, I headed to 0-0. I don't know what it is about doing these 1v1s, but 0-0 fights on day 100 just always seems to be the best place to be. And so me and the Packtopia, I call the Packtopia, headed to the center. Potions were ready, bow was ready, sword was ready. And by day 96, we was there and we waited. And waited. And waited. And 2 days later, on day 98, Austin showed up and the final fight was on. I saw him down the mountain and, well, he had his own dogs, but not as many as I did. And so, like usual, I started raining arrows. It was clear he wasn't too bothered about a bow fight, and so he quickly rushed the mountain. But the moment he saw how many dogs I actually had, he decided to run for the hills. Just not this hill, because obviously that's where I am. I drank my potions, or splashed my potions, and charged him down. And the bow fighting begun. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just going to ignore the dogs because for the most part they just killed each other whilst me and Austin just kept shooting arrows at each other. Austin constantly had to keep running though because again apparently I was just doing a lot more damage to him than he was doing to me. The 50-day head start probably helped, now that I think about it. It pretty much was the same for every single exchange. We'd do a couple of shots, Austin would then have to run and heal and just keep doing that. Don't get me wrong, I had to occasionally heal as well, but maybe I was just landing more shots, or maybe my dogs was actually doing more damage than I thought they were doing. But the point is that every single exchange was just good. I kept running him down when... oh, he crashed. Yeah, this is fine. It's just a professional Minecraft video where we're hunting each other. It's only taking over 20 hours to record. It's fine. You just crashed in the final fight. No biggie. It's just the final fight, Austin. It's just the final fight. Fine, it's cool, whatever. Once he got back on the server, the fight continued, and as the suns were setting, all of his dogs were gone. And sadly, 90% of the Packtopia was too. In fact, by night's fall, well, there wasn't any dogs left. The Packtopia only just came into this world, and they're already gone. Alright, one more time. I call them the Packtopia. I called them the Packtopia. I think I've made that joke before. I was fairly confident I was having him low. He was avoiding me like the plague. Every hit, every run, every heal, I could just feel like I was getting closer and closer. I just seemed to be doing well, and they was just amazing. It did get me as low as 5.5 hearts, which admittedly was a bit concerning, but not really that low in the grand scheme of things. I don't think he ever got me any lower. When I was watching the footage back, I didn't see it at least. But as midnight hit, and a few well-placed shots comboing him one more time, Austin explodes into items as he has died on day 98. And that, kids, is how I survived 100 days in Ultra-Hardcore Manhunt. Thank you for watching.